Welcome to One Book, One Review.
Hey guys, today I have book reviews for you. Short ones because I want to tell you about all the books I read on my vacation. So let's start with the first one. The first book I read was Fledermausland by Oliver Dielsen. I mentioned this before, it's a German book by a German author from my hometown and it is set in my hometown Hanover, which was the appeal for getting it. But I have to say the story was very imaginative. There were supernatural creatures roaming around in Hanover, they are part of our, life. We don't know they're there, but it's really interesting. The story was very imaginative, captive and creative. I really liked that part. What I didn't like was some of the writing. The narrator, main character, he got on my nerves pretty soon. He was kind of not likable, but you get over that because there are some funny parts of things that happen to him, so you can deal with that. The part where it's about Hanover is really interesting and funny. There is only one part, a very long part where he's in the local cinema and the descriptions there. He changed the name of the cinema, he changed everything that's there. It just doesn't match. That disturbed me. But other than that, it's a good read. If you're from Hanover, you could check it out. The second book was a reread for me, Time Traveler's Wife. I don't know how often I've read it, but this is one of my go-to books. I just love this book. If you don't know, it tells the story of a time traveler, Henry, and his wife Claire, who's not a time traveler. And what I really like about this book is that it's not just telling us how they meet and fall in love, but it tells their whole life story and their whole life together, the problems they have, the fights, the struggles, everything. And I have to say, Henry and Claire, they're just one of my favorite love couples ever in literature, because their love is just so enduring, it's so true, it's just amazing. If you haven't read this book, just go pick it up now. I mean, seriously, the writing is awesome, the story is very creative and imaginative, and you'll love Henry and Claire, you just will, trust me. Then I read No and Me by Delphine de Vigan. I hope I'm saying the name right. It's a story about 13-year-old Lou Bertignac. She's a very smart girl and she jumped classes, so she's 13-year-olds while all her classmates are 15, which makes her feel uncomfortable and awkward, and she doesn't really fit in. And one day she meets this homeless girl, No, and she's 18 years old, so she decides to make a presentation about her and meets this girl. They get to know each other, they become friends. This is what the book is about, their friendship and how they influence each other and what effect or impact No has on Lou's life. There's also a minor love story in the background because Lou's best friend Lucas is actually 17 years old because he was set back in school. He's a troublemaker. The characters are very interesting and likable. I liked Lou because she was really weird and it was described in a nice way how weird she was and how that came from being so smart. The book didn't leave a major impact. It was a nice read. It was interesting to read about the situation the homeless girl finds herself in and how the 13-year-old girl tries to help her. But yeah, nothing special. Then I read The Legend of Saint Grant by Mark Phillips. And this is a story about a giant who's a rancher. I mean a real giant, like really, really giant. He was born Saint Grant and he grows faster than anyone else. He's smarter, so by 12 years, so with 12 he's already managing the ranch of his father and helping out, and he's very smart. This book basically tells the story of him being a rancher, how he's growing up, how things he has to deal with. I thought it was very interesting, all the stuff that's going on, how he tries to find himself and adjust himself, and how he tries to be a normal person, and the things that are normal for him are not normal for us small people. And it was really well written, it was captivating, I couldn't put it down. What I have to say, what I didn't like, is the ending. It just stops. Like, yeah, you could say it's a ending, but it could go on forever, and I was kind of disappointed. So if you've read that, tell me what you thought of the ending, without spoilers please. The last book I read was a very quick read. It's just 100 pages or so. All My Friends Are Superheroes by Andrew Kaufman. And Ignore the Ugly Cover. It has nothing to do with the story. This book is a lovely read. It was just fun. I couldn't put it down. It's just cute. It tells the story of Tom, who's not a superhero, who just married the perfectionist, who's of course a superhero because she can make everything perfect. And that's the kind of superheroes we're talking about. We're not talking about flying, super strength and super villains and things like that. We're just talking about little things that people are good at. And I like that the superheroes point out little things in their personality and their character that they just can do extremely and extraordinarily well. And that was really charming about this book. It tells the story of the beginning of their marriage, and it's kind of cute. I don't want to give too much away because there's not that much story in there. It's just a fun read. It makes you think about the things that you can do well. It makes you think about the characters. And yeah, I don't know, it's just cute. Just pick it up. It doesn't take a lot of time. I couldn't put it down. I think I read it in an hour or so. So that's what I read on my vacation. What have you been reading lately? Tell me in comments. And if you read any of the books, just let me know what you thought of them. Thank you all for watching and have a very nice day. Bye bye. Uncomfortable because I'm doing the squinting thing again.